Today we are going to be diving into quite possibly some of the coolest lore I've ever read inside of the Souls games. And conveniently, one of the subjects we have gotten the most information about here in the Elden Ring network test. And that is the story of the Raya Lucarian Academy, the study of glintstone sorcery, and the Carian royal family. Now, the basic lore of these subjects, while interesting on their own, have some extremely fascinating implications, and bring light to some deep secrets that have been right in front of our face the whole time. But now, before we dive into this, if you would like to learn more about the lore of Elden Ring, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel for more of this type of content. But now, let's dive into the lore. To begin our look into the story of glintstone, we need to go to the place where the study of it originated, and that is the Raya Lucarian Academy. Any scholars seeking to learn the art of glintstone sorcery would likely find themselves here at the Academy of Raya Lucaria, where the sorcerers therein don the mask of their forefather Keralos, which has a description that reads, "A mask of heavy stone resembling the wise Keralos, a forefather of the Raya Lucarian resurgence. Magic scholars wear this mask to show the lineage of their glintstone study, as well as their vows of virtue and austerity, an eye for the world and a keen mind. First and foremost, a sorcerer must surrender both to their craft." It's unclear exactly when Keralos rejuvenated the study of glintstone, but we do know what a lot of their findings were. Their arts can be defined as sorcery that draws upon the power of glintstone. But what is the nature of such power? Glintstone is the amber of the cosmos, and its counterpart, golden amber, contains the remnants of ancient life and houses its vitality. Glintstone contains residual life, and thus the vitality of the stars. It should not be forgotten that glintstone sorcery is the study of the stars and the life therein. Now, we don't know for sure what the end goal for this study was, but it's likely that the vitality of the stars is referring to immortal life. And if you care to dig through the item descriptions yourself, you'll find that there's a lot of different groups throughout the lands between searching for this immortality. And two groups of those include the Dragonkin soldiers, and perhaps even the pot boys, but those are videos for another time. It's hinted that this power the Raya Lucarian Academy found was likely getting too strong and needed to be kept in check, and so a new group was formed, the Enchanted Knights. The Enchanted Knights were originally dispatched to counteract the Academy for a reason unknown, but it's important to note that they chose to fight fire with fire, and the Enchanted Knights practiced glintstone sorcery, wielding spells such as Carian Piercer to take down their foes. However, the age of hunting the Academy practitioners did not last forever, and the Enchanted Knights later on chose to hunt anyone who would use glintstone sorcery for malevolent acts. The Order of the Enchanted Knights did not come to a clean end. We don't know how long the order lasted for, but we do know they eventually came to a state of disarray and disorganization, and their fall would be a direct reflection of the masters that sent them, the fall of the Carian royal family. To begin the discussion on the Carian royal family, we need to first look at the land they occupy, presumably a place of a similar name to their own, Caria. Caria is likely a major section in the lands between. It's a place described as a kingdom protected by the moonlight, where its citizens once passionately practiced astronomy. And I assume that this blue aurora we can see is the representation of the moonlight's protection. And aside from the Raya Lucarian Academy, one other place that presumably holds vast importance to those in Caria is a fabled eternal city. Now, for the next few minutes we are going to be discussing potential spoilers. This includes boss names and confirmations of leaks that have not been officially revealed. So if you would like to skip over that information, I'm going to have a timestamp on screen that you can skip to now. Now, that's your warning, but let's continue. This location that we can see in the leaked trailer is almost definitely what remains of the Eternal City. It's described in the lore for an unknown reason the Eternal City fell to ruin beneath the ground. We don't know why or how that happened, but we do know that at least one member of the Carian royal family resided there, and that member was the one that appointed themselves the Enchanted Knights, formerly known as the Lunar Queen. And I don't think it's any stretch to assume that this character we see in the leaked trailer is the Lunar Queen. Too much of it lines up, and then in the boss introduction that we can see on screen, they summon a giant illusion of the moon behind them. But for now, that's just speculation, and that's all the direct lore confirmation we have. So let's move back to the official lore. In the Eternal City, the stars were very highly regarded. However, there was something else that held in equal import as the stars themselves, and that was meteorites. Now, one aspect of glintstone sorcery that we haven't really touched on yet is the power to manipulate gravity, and we've seen that used quite often throughout the network test. In the Forlorn Hound Evergoal area, we can find these rock caterpillar creatures that are held together by this same gravity magic that can be identified by these purple emanations. This gravity magic also seems to have the property and the power to teleport, and it allows us to access the boss fight with Bloodhound Darawil. There are also spells commonly used in the Lands Between that draw on this gravitational manipulation, such as the ability to summon meteorites at your foes, a spell said to be used by a great white king with stone skin. Now there is one final thing I want to talk about in relation to this gravity magic that has the potential to be one of the biggest mysteries in Elden Ring. All of these fallen structures that you can see around Limgrave are said to be the dilapidated remains of a once great sky temple, where we can find ancient debris strewn throughout. We have no context for this temple, other than that it once resided in the sky but fell to earth after some event. Now, the reasonable assumption would be that the event was the Shattering, although we really have no way of knowing. But one really fun theory that I think is very cool is that the temple didn't reside in the sky, but on the moon. Someone pointed out that on the moon in the night sky you can actually see a symbol that very closely resembles the Elden Ring logo. Now, I know this is a lot of reaching, and this is just some wild speculation on my part, but we're trying to have fun with it. Perhaps the Carrion royal family not only held an eternal city on the ground, but also through the use of gravitational magic, built a temple on the moon to further worship it and honor its protection of them. But that's just some wild speculation. Like I said, we really have no way of knowing, and as of right now, that is all our knowledge on the glintstone study, the Carrion royal family, and the gravitational magic. But man, I am loving this whole space lore. Elden Ring lore is looking really awesome, and the whole cosmos theme was one of my favorite aspects of Bloodborne that really kept me engaged, and to see this whole use of mystique and obtuse storytelling, and these slight bits of cosmic horror coming back in Elden Ring is so much fun to play around with and dive into. And so these are going to be a lot of things we need to keep our eyes out for when the final game comes out, because man, I want to learn more about this sky temple and what importance it served in the Lands Between. I couldn't really find anything too crazy on the architecture of it. However, tying in with the whole cosmos thing, we can see on the Eye of the Giant in the Summer Games Fest trailer an exact image of the northern storms of Jupiter, and that same symbol can be seen all over the streets in the Lands Between. So these are just a lot of things I'm going to keep my eyes out for in the final game, and I encourage you to do the same. But guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.